as we studied the lesson Indian rivers and water resources, and started in the previous session of the online class up to water used in the Tungabhadra river basin. So now today we are going to continue from the title water used in the Tungabhadra river basin, and also the title rational and equitable use of water, an example. My dear students, as I give you a small homework in the previous session of online class, of that just very few students are responded. It seems that very less students are watching online classes. It doesn't matter how we are continuing online classes, but it is very hazardous impact to you only. Whatever we can know that how many students are submitted, how many students are sent me homework, what I have to write the tributaries. I noted their names. Remaining will be get punishment under disciplinary activity. So today we are continuing chapter from the title of water used in the Tungabhadra river basin. Tungabhadra shared by the three southern states, Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are the states which are southern states which are shared water, which are irrigated by the source of Tungabhadra river's water in the agriculture facilities. In upcoming days, which means where the Tungabhadra river is available, which was sharing water to Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, is that water facility at present also available in such a manner where the Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka got water sources in the utilization of the irrigation, like the several sources which were utilized by the Tungabhadra among these three states. Is that available at present or not, or the Tungabhadra river basin's water level is decreased? So what happened to the Tungabhadra river, that we discuss in this passage. Tungabhadra shared by the three southern states, Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, is a tributary of the larger river system Krishna. Tungabhadra is the tributary of larger river system Krishna. It originates in the Western Ghats with a catchment area of 71,417 square kilometers, of which 57,671 square kilometers area in the Karnataka. The Tungabhadra basin has two parts: the upper and the middle catchment in Karnataka, and the lower portion of the catchment in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, which means here the majority part of the Tungabhadra river basin source is available to Karnataka state, and the lower portion which is available to the almost of the, suppose here 60% Tungabhadra river basin source is available to Karnataka and 30% is 25% is Andhra Pradesh, remaining 15% is to Telangana state available the water source from Tungabhadra river. We can expect here. According to the official statistics, farmland is the main land cover in these states. Others such as trees, groves, fallow land, cultivable waste and permanent pasture and forests and the natural vegetation cover the rest of the area. Some of the territory is used for the storage by water harvesting systems called tanks. As you know, tanks in each and every village, the village has the little bit water source by the tanks. The tanks also, several tanks were emerged by the Tungabhadra river basin, where the several villagers are utilizing the water source in their cultivation and irrigation facilities. But here, the lower portions of the basin in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are characterized by the lower rainfall and the drought conditions. Some regions depend on the rainfall and underground water wells and tube wells. Other areas depend on the surface flows by canals that carry water from dams built along with the Tungabhadra. There is a lot of difference in water availability between these two types of the regions, which means, see, the upper catchment area of the Tungabhadra river basin like Karnataka state and lower catchment area Telangana and Andhra Pradesh has the variations here, lot of variations, because in the upper catchment Karnataka has the facilities, several mini tanks are available near the in the region of in the span of the within the span of Tungabhadra river basin, which is covering Karnataka state. There are several tanks are available. In other regions like in the lower catchment area, the people like in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are depending on dig wells, are depending on the several other resources which are not linked with the Tungabhadra river basin, but which is also covered to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh in the little bit faith. That was the major problem here, which can we understand here. Other areas depend on surface flows by the canals that carry water from the dams built along Tungabhadra, which means here it has the source of the canals, which means in the canals water which follow when the Tungabhadra river basin fills out of coverage, when Tungabhadra river basin flows after fulfilling of its when it will flow, at that time only the water comes to the canals. If suppose in Tungabhadra river the water is in the low quantity, which means at that time the water will not flow over and the water will not reach to these canals. So that was the problem here. So on surface flows by the canals that carry water from the dams and built along with the Tungabhadra. There is a lot of difference in water availability between these two type of the regions. Encroachment of the public lands for cultivation is common. It results in more land and being brought under the cultivation at the expense of tree cover, and rampant felling of the trees and mining activity is resulting in forests degradation along with the destruction of the habitat and high treatment of the flora and fauna, which means flora means botanically damage of the forests, fauna which means damage of the complete animality which are depending on the forests. An inflow of the groundwater depend on the tree cover in the catchment areas. Inadequate tree cover leads to water runoff at surface flow without getting a chance to reaching the underground system. Moreover, this also causes the floods, and if we wish to be fair to both the rainfed and the canal irrigation regions, we must adopt a different plan for the water conservation and a systems of the sharing water, which means as Tungabhadra river's water is shared to the 3 states of India like Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So here the example is given that when the people are trying to create any new canals, any new dams, when they are going to construct new dams, meanwhile there was the massive destruction we can find, like the damage, deforestation we have to do, and the canal and digging, the lot of requirement here which is damaged the agriculture land and forests, everything it will be creatable to the people and where they get this source. Meanwhile here where the Tungabhadra river is tributary of the Krishna Tungabhadra river is sharing water here to 3 states. So like that here in the continuation manner, we can also create any conservation ideas towards of the water storage and seepage that was given here. Like otherwise botanically also zoologically also there were a lot of differences we can find. Tungabhadra dam has gradually lost its water storage capacity over the adequate. About 50 years ago the capacity of the reservoir was 3,766 million cubic meters. Now with the accumulation of silt due to the mining, dust, soil erosion and debris, the reservoir has lost its storage capacity by as much as 849 million cubic meters of water. As one study says, proper mining standards are not followed in the iron ore extraction. The mining of iron ore at the Kudremukh and the manganese in Sandur has seriously affected the stability of the catchment in the form of soil erosion and siltation of the several small reservoirs and traditional tanks and Tungabhadra reservoirs. This was the complete effective things which we can see here. Based on the Tungabhadra dam has gradually lost its water storage as we see here. So like that, if the water quantity decreases in any reservoir, so that cannot be sustainable for the future generation. Suppose here one of the example given where the water was shared to 3 states by Tungabhadra in previous times in sufficient manner, 8% of the water source is decreased. So to provide water to the 3 states in adequate manner, it was in previous times. But Tungabhadra river basin was gradually it lost its water source in the continuation. So that is why the water sources. So conservation is very important. It is indicating as conflicts between the Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are generally related to availability of water for use. Water is a flow resource and its storage or use upstream affects what is available to people downstream. Water is shared based on agreements between the state governments. Yes, obviously, if suppose River Krishna and River Godavari are originated in the Maharashtra, but we have the sources of the water flow in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh also. Which means if the government of Maharashtra, a place where the River Krishna and River Godavari originating, and that places government can stop the water to do not pass to other states. They can do that, otherwise they will only conserve that water. They cannot allow to flow the water to other states. They can do, but it cannot be possible. So that is why the state governments with another state governments, the rivers which are linked with the other states, to that they will keep an agreement in acceptations. So in the view of that, the rivers which flow throughout the other states also, where the state governments will also support to pass the water throughout the other areas. Access to water is a precondition in this farmland area where 80% of the population depends on agriculture for their livelihoods. Irrigation is provided through canal systems, while in the rain-fed regions farmers extract groundwater through bore wells. The major crop grown include paddy, jowar, sugarcane, cotton and finger millets. These are the crops where they will depend on water, and some of the crops which depend on the rain-fed only. Although the area is ideal for semi-arid crops, the major crops grown demand a lot of water. Paddy and sugarcane cultivation of such crops throughout the basin has dramatically altered the water sharing balance. When all the areas desire water for these crops, conflict become inevitable. Hence, there is a significant difference between the farmers with the access to land and irrigated water and those without access for a fair use of the water for all. A change in cropping pattern would have to be encouraged throughout the basin, which means where the conservation is available, the conservation can stop here to conservation can facilitate here to the several things like farmers, where the 80% of the Indian population depends on the agriculture as its records according to the 2011 census. So they should get water when they will conserve. During the last 2 decades, there has been an increasing trend in the number of small towns and industrial areas. This has made the competing demands for water more complex, while increased industrialization and growth of the urban areas have improved the standards of living for some. The same activities have caused pollution, especially by the industrial units. There are 27 functioning large units and 2,543 small units in this river basin. So they consume a large amount of water per day. Industries were permitted to discharge the effluents into the river, which means toxic activities. The wastage of the industries are releasing to that basin only into the river. But following public protests in the 1984 regarding the discharge of the molasses and that killed fish on a large scale, and laws were enacted requiring industry to the discharge only treated effluents. These laws are not implemented forcefully, hence severe pollution of the river system continues, which means here to decrease water in the Tungabhadra river basin, reason is that there are 27 functioning large units of the industries are using the water of Tungabhadra river basin, and 2,543 small units of the river basin is taking the water, which means there are the several industries are using the water of the Tungabhadra basin, and what they are doing, and largely they consume a large amount of water per day. Industries were permitted to discharge effluents into the river only. Effluents, which means the wastage of the industries, they are releasing into the river only. So it was impacting on the creatures which are living in the water body of the Tungabhadra river basin, and also other thing is that like all the fishes are dying by the effect of this the wastage toxics which the industries are releasing in the Tungabhadra river basin, and it was causing, and towards of this the people are started protest and their protest was supported by the government in 1984 regarding discharge of the molasses that killed the fish on a large scale. Laws were enacted requiring industry to the discharge only the treated effluents. These laws are not implemented forcefully, hence severe pollution of the river system continues, which means there are the lot of requirements where in the 1984 the government of India was enacted, prepared some laws. So utilizing the industrial water is not in the high manner, the utilizing in the industrial water is in the less quantity only, and also it was prohibited releasing the unwanted materials like the things like toxic filled things, the wastage of the industries releasing and dumping into the rivers is prohibited. So it was it is also major and impactful reason to decrease the water in the Tungabhadra river basin. There has been a mismatch between keeping pace with the development activities on various fronts and providing the sanitation and drinking water supply for all sections of society, both in small towns and rural areas. Some say that drinking water and sanitation are basic needs and minimum amount has to be provided irrespective of the ability to pay for these. When we experiment with the metered water, we have to allow that a certain section of society would not be able to afford the water, that they must get a basic requirement. A report for this river basin says provision of drinking water to townships is not planned well, particularly the small towns have serious access and equity related issues more so during the summer, which means this has been a mismatch between the keeping pace with the development activities on the various fronts and the providing sanitation, which means sanitation and drinking water supply. All the various things where they are depending on this basin are not in the adequate manner, which means they have to face a lot of dissatisfactory problems to the water where they have the sources. And it created to the people where the sanitary things, where the water was contaminated, mixed with the toxics, so the water is unsafe for using. That created problems, and it was also we have to allow that the certain section of the society would not be able to afford the water, that they must get a basic requirement. A report for this river basin says provision of drinking water to township is not planned well, and particularly the small towns have serious access and equity related issues more so during the summer, which means the water was not utilized in the adequate manner that was created, and in the summer they had to face lot of so many problems. So that was the requirement here, where they are not using in an adequate manner, in a sufficient manner. The overuse was causing here to impact in the summer also. Thus, the socio-economic aspects are very important for water use management conflicts within the communities in a region and across the sections, such as the use for the agriculture, industry or the drinking water are common. Apart from this, interstate disputes between the Karnataka and combined Andhra Pradesh, like Telangana at the time included in Andhra Pradesh, arise due to the transboundary nature of the river, transboundary nature of the river, which is a difficult creation of the transboundary. The water cannot allow to the Andhra Pradesh, and Andhra Pradesh do not allow to Telangana. So it was a creation is very difficult. So the basic and correct thing is that if from this passage there are the chances to ask a question, how suggest a few things to storage and salvage of the Tungabhadra river basin's water. In your open view, the question will ask, suggest a few things, savage and storage of the Tungabhadra river basin water. So that was very impactful, impactful for the future generations, for the sustainability purpose, because here the thing come here, the main important aspects comes here that the Tungabhadra river basin water is used more and more by the industries. Like here example which is given, 27 functioning large areas in 2005 and 43 small units are using the Tungabhadra river basin. That was the reason, and we should prohibit you utilizing water from the such industries. We should avoid the utilizing water of the industries from such, and also dumping the wastage of the industries into the such industries, into such basins can cause an impact and damage of the rivers, and we should avoid these things to storage, and we should use in adequate manner, in insufficient manner, in expected manner, that like things which come not overusing of the water by the industries. The limited water will be used by the industries, and the wastage is not dumped into the such river basins. These are all the things, these are all the aspects you should mention into the answer when such questions will ask. So let us see next criteria. Rational and equitable use of water. An example. We have read about the use of water and the need to look at all the inflow and outflows, so that a judicious and fair use of water can be worked out. This could be for a river basin or a village. Such plans and implementation schemes are possible. Hiware Bazar village in an example. Hiware Bazar, here a little bit story was given about Hiware Bazar, which is located in the Maharashtra state. One of the story given how they were stored, how they were conserved water. Let us see that story now. Hiware Bazar was selected under the Adarsh Gram Yojana of Maharashtra government for watershed and all-round development of the village. Hiware Bazar is located in the Ahmednagar district in Maharashtra. It might be asked in the choose the correct answer. Hiware Bazar is located in which district of India? Hiware Bazar is located in which district of state? In any aspect question will be asked. In which state of the Hiware Bazar is located? In the Maharashtra state of district in Ahmednagar. It is situated on the eastern right shadow side of the Sahyadri mountain ranges that run north south and separate Konkan, the coastal region, from the rest of the Maharashtra. Ahmednagar district is drought prone with an average annual rainfall of about 400 millimeters only, which means here Hiware Bazar, which is located in the Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra state, receives very little rainfall in a year. So that was the dispute here, where the Hiware Bazar is just receiving just 400 millimeter rainfall in a rain season throughout the rain season. So which means that village will get a lot of water problems. So how does that village was handled here? That we will see here. The soil and water conservation works in the Hiware Bazar were implemented on common lands and on private grasslands. Continuous contour trenches, CCTS, continuous contour trenches, CCTS here in bracket mentioned, it means it stands for continuous contour trenches, were dug on the hill slopes to arrest the erosion of soil and harvest water and encourage growth of the grass. A number of water harvesting structures were also built in the village. Check dams, percolation tanks, and loose boulder structures, plantations on forest lands and roadsides were also part of the program. When Adarsh Gram Yojana was launched in the Maharashtra, there were also some preconditions set for the selection of the village. Most important were the four bandis. Most importants were 4 bandis. Bandis means banning, bans, 4 bans. So what 4 bans, what 4 bannings they were implemented in the Hiware Bazar to select the Hiware Bazar as the Nirmal Adarsh Gram Yojana, to Adarsh Gram Yojana award. Very important reason is that also in the Hiware Bazar, to select Hiware Bazar village to Adarsh Gram Yojana award is also that here the 4 bandis. Bandis means bans. What 4 bans they implemented in their village? Let us see. There were also some preconditions set for the selection of village. Most important were 4 bandis or bans made famous by the Relegan and Siddhi experiences. The 4 bandis were Kurhat Bandi, ban of felling trees. Kurhat Bandi means deforestation. Doing deforestation is prohibited. Increasing forest is supported, and decreasing forest and or cutting forest is prohibited. It means what? It was mentioned Kurhat Bandi, Charai Bandi, ban of tree grazing. Charai Bandi, which means grazing buffaloes, hogs, animals, all these animals grazing in the field lands, grazing in the forest lands, except providing of the special things towards of the animals. The allocation of the things are refused here, like ban of the tree grazing. Charai Bandi, which means taking animals and entering into the any fields anywhere, this was prohibited. Some specific areas are allocated to grazing of the animals. Some specific areas are allocated. In that areas only they have to graze the animals. So Chara Bandi, second one. Nasbandi, family planning, not giving birth to more than 2-3 children. Nasbandi, family planning, and Nashabandi, ban of the liquor. Nashabandi, which means in that village, there they were not allowed to preparation of the any alcoholic things, like the people of the Hiware Bazar are also not allowed to any person who used to consume the alcohol. So these are all the 4 bandis. Question might be asked for 2 marks or 1 mark. What are the 4 bandis implemented in the Hiware Bazar? What are the 4 bandis are implemented in the Hiware Bazar? One is Kurhat Bandi, second is Charai Bandi, third is Nasbandi, 4 is Nashabandi. These are the 4 bandis, 4 bans are implemented in the Hiware Bazar to get the succession. The significance of these 5 ideals needs to be understood, keeping in mind the situation in Hiware Bazar at that time. The late 1980s, tree felling and open grazing was common among the both rich and poor households. The surroundings, hillocks, and according to many local people, had a barren look. Soil erosion was prominent and groundwater levels very low. In addition to this, fodder and fuel goods storage were common in the village. There was a ban on free grazing. People were allowed to cut grass and carry it to feed animals, which means the special allocations are created of the towards, and when it was implemented, then it was become successful to get the Adarsh Gram Yojana award. There are other bans in the village which were added later. Most significant was the ban on borewells for irrigation, growing the sugarcane and the banana, and selling on one's land to any outsider. These measures illustrate the issues of the long-term sustainability, especially in the terms of the water use, were very much central to the strategy. The bandis were not more proclamations, which means impactable, but ways of the community building might and the people identifying with the common purpose, but it was not always a smooth affair, which means the bandis are not common thing here. Also the community unity is also one of the important aspect here under the bandis, and all the people should be supported towards of this. It is also very important. The area irrigated for summer crops has increased from the 7 to 72 hectares in a year of the normal rainfall. There is enough water in the wells to irrigate not only the Kharif bajra but also the Rabi jowar and some summer vegetables crops. Even in the unirrigated land, the improved in soil moisture and level has helped to increase and productivity. The range of the crops is also considerably more diverse than in the past, with the people growing cash crops such as potatoes, onion, fruits and grapes and pomegranates, flowers and wheat. Perhaps the most significant development is the increased water availability has made a second crop possible, and hence migration elsewhere has reduced. Although this has not meant that small and marginal farmers are able to take out a village on their own lands only. It has made their lands much more productive. The conditions of wage employment have also improved, with the wage rates and going up through the remain on the low side, which means these all the conditions are facilitated to the village Hiware Bazar. And Hiware Bazar was before it used to produce only one crop. Now it was producing Rabi and Kharif, and also vegetables and several fruits and orchards were created in the Hiware Bazar. And Hiware Bazar is from the Hiware Bazar village. In the previous times, people migrated as seasonal migrators to the other states, and it was also reduced now because of all the succession of that. The village was stored the water, and village was saved the forests. The village was protected the all natural things. Then it became success, and also the several crops are developed with the fall of the 400 millimeter rainfall only. So it became very success in this manner. So let us continue. So we will continue the remaining chapter in the next session of the online class, and also in the next session of the online class I will give you 1 mark questions which you have to write. So all the 1 mark questions you have to write. Indian rivers and water resources lessons, all the 1 mark questions you have to write, because these are the questions very important, and also we'll get some of the geographical knowledge if you read all the questions in the fair note. Thank you.